welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the rise, fall, and rise again of Jared Goff. Let's check this out.
Goff was always expected to be a
Okay.
star. Drafted first overall, armed with a rocket of an arm that helped turn around a struggling Ram franchise and lead them to a Super Bowl appearance. But by 2021,
yeah, one of the most boring Super Bowls ever, bro.
Down when the Rams gave up on Goff and traded him to a poverty franchise, the Detroit Lions.
I mean, that kind of helped out his career, though. I ain't gonna lie. Cause let's be for real, bro. Like he wasn't really playing all that was the last couple years as a Ram.
Goff rose from the ashes.
He was shipped. He was
God damn, Cam.
to Detroit to die. Respectfully.
They threw him to the pack, came back leading.
Came back leading.
That's facts.
You dig what I'm saying? What he's been able to do in Detroit is something that no quarterback has ever been able to do.
Today, he's leading the Lions to
I don't
the
know
best
about
years
that,
in their
but-
history, transforming a once hopeless franchise into an absolute powerhouse. This is the rise, fall, and redemption of Jared Goff. But just how did a castaway quarterback save his career, and with it, an entire organization? Well, to understand his journey, you have to go back to when Goff was still in high school. Athleticism was in Jared Goff's blood. His father, Jerry Goff, spent 6
And
seasons
he looked
as
just
an
like his
MLB
dad.
catcher, passing down the competitive edge that fueled Jared's rise on the football field. As a sophomore at Marion Catholic, Goff earned the starting quarterback job, and immediately he was unstoppable. And over 3 seasons, he racked up jaw-dropping stats. More than 7,600 passing yards and 93 touchdowns.
Damn!
It wasn't just about
In high school?
Goff's precision, clutchness, and leadership quickly turned heads as he led his team to deep playoff runs and cemented himself as one of California's
Are you
top
feeling like
quarterback
Vince Young,
prospects. By the time he graduated, he was a 4-star recruit and had offers pouring in from schools like Boise State, Fresno State, and Washington State. But Goff had his heart set on staying close to home, ultimately committing to the University of California, Berkeley, where he would begin the next chapter of his journey. And when Jared Goff stepped onto Cal's
What the fuck is this picture, gang?
And when Jared Goff stepped onto Cal's campus in 2013, expectations were low. Not for him, but for the football program. Cal football was in the middle of a rough patch, coming off a 3-9 season, and optimism was hard to find. But after being named the starting quarterback as a true freshman, the first in school history, Goff proved to be the spark the team needed. At first, the results weren't pretty. Cal finished with a brutal 1-11 record.
God
Goff's
damn.
potential was impossible to ignore.
Backs ran well, our linemen blocked well, and we ran well. So that's all there is to it. And I just got to play a better game in order to give us a chance to win.
Throwing for over 3,500 yards and 18 touchdowns, he showcased a natural talent for reading defenses and delivering precise passes. By his sophomore year, Goff began to turn things around. In 2014, he threw for nearly 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns. The team finished 5-7, which was a promising step forward. But then came his breakout junior season. Goff racked up 4,719 passing yards and 43 touchdowns, which were both Pac-12 records at the time. Under his leadership, Cal finished 8-5 and capped the season with a bowl game victory.
They've been getting it better every year with him at
He
QB.
talked about quarterbacks in college football. By the time he declared for the NFL draft, he had rewritten Cal's record books. Nearly every meaningful passing record now belonged to him. Career completions, passing yards, touchdowns. But as much as college prepared him, the NFL would present a new set of challenges, and it wasn't going to be an easy transition.
So after much deliberation with my family and close friends, I've decided to forego my senior year at Cal and declare for the 2016.
Shit, I would too, bro. You threw for over 5,000 yards your junior year, nigga.
Jared Goff was a fascinating prospect, but not everyone was convinced. Critics pointed to his slender frame, his struggles under pressure.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I feel like nowadays, bro, having a slender frame doesn't like matter anymore. Like take Devontae Smith for instance, gang.
How well his game
Being a small like player in the NFL is not really a big thing anymore, gang. Like you can be elite with a small frame. You just would rather have, you know what I'm saying, more muscle on you. And Jaden Daniels as well. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna lie, JD need to put on some more weight. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Well, like more muscle.
Was a top-rated quarterback prospect alongside North Dakota State's Carson Wentz. The Los Angeles Rams, fresh off their move to LA, needed a franchise QB. To land the #1 pick, they pulled off a blockbuster trade, giving up multiple firsts, seconds, and
Who did the
thirds
Titans select
to
with their
move
first
the
round pick
team to
that
the
year?
top of the draft. And then
Probably not on the team anymore.
Los Angeles Rams select Jared Goff, quarterback, California.
Goff was now the face of the Los Angeles Rams, stepping into a massive market with sky-high expectations. The Rams hadn't made the playoffs in over a decade, and Goff was supposed to change that. But he was joining a team that was navigating a new city, had a head coach in Jeff Fisher who was really on his last leg with the organization.
Yeah, Jeff Fisher
and
was a
roster
horrible
with
head coach,
many
gang.
holes. So Goff had his work cut out for him. He began the season watching from the sidelines behind veteran Case Keenum, and it wasn't until
Case
week
Keenum.
11 that Goff got to start.
And now is the time that Jeff Fisher says Jared Goff is their starting quarterback.
Jared Goff will start this weekend for the Los Angeles Rams at quarterback.
And when he did, things went downhill fast. In Goff's debut against the Miami Dolphins, he showed occasional flashes of the talent that made him the top pick, but Goff and the Rams offense only put up 10 points in a loss.
Damn, man,
He
got a
struggled
big
to
ass
win,
knee
and
brace
there,
on his knee.
Goff started the final 7 games of the season, and the Rams went winless in those games, finishing
Wow.
0-7 with Goff under center.
Oh my
He had
gosh,
5
yo.
touchdowns to 7 interceptions, and looked overwhelmed. And it probably didn't help that he was sacked 26 times in those 7 games.
Well, that explains it right there.
By season's end,
Shitty
the
ass
Rams
O-line.
finished 4-12, and the whispers about Goff being a bust grew louder.
You think this is an overreaction?
Like, bro, you cannot say a player's a bust after 1 year, gang. Like, that's just not how it works in the NFL.
This is a
It takes time for some players, bro. It might take like a player like 5 years to finally get things going in the
Critics
NFL.
questioned if the Rams had made a huge mistake
You know what I'm
with their
saying?
blockbuster trade. If Goff was going to have a long, successful career in the NFL,
I feel like you
he
can
needed to
only
start
like
performing
call a
at
player a
high level
bust if he's not good.
fast.
Like after like what
Because
3-4
at the end of the
years,
day,
bro.
everyone in
I
the
feel like that's the
NFL
perfect time
wants
to call
win
him a
the
bust.
Super
But
Bowl.
like 1 or
Which is
2,
why This
nah.
episode of Blitz is brought to you by DraftKings.
All right,
This
gang,
Sunday-
come
Well, he's
Ain't sponsoring me, bro.
DraftKings. So, don't miss out
Shit,
on
when
the
am I gonna get my
opportunity to
sponsorship,
your Super
gang?
Bowl
You
experience
know what I'm saying?
in
When am I gonna get a
the
sponsorship,
DraftKings
bro?
Sportsbook app in bonus hours. Get Hope NY available for CC
Nigga!
expires season. The Rams made sweeping changes,
I was just fired.
starting with firing
Bro, why you jump back like that?
Coach Jeff
Like you
Fisher,
ain't know that shit was gonna
firing
happen.
McVay,
The
who would be
fuck?
the youngest head coach in NFL history. His age was a concern, but McVay brought a fresh
Yo, nah, that's
offensive
funny
vision
as hell.
tailored to Goff's strengths. And with his new weapons,
Robert
like wide
Woods.
receiver Robert Woods and rookie Cooper Kupp, Goff found himself in
Neither
a
of them on the
difficult
Rams anymore,
situation,
bro.
And the difference
Crazy.
was evident right out of the gate. In week 1, Goff threw for over 300 yards and a touchdown.
I don't
And
think
in
anybody that was a part of this
49
team is even on the
Colts.
team anymore.
Goff blossomed in McVay's system, showing the accuracy,
I
quick
think everybody
decision-making,
gone.
and deep
Either
ball prowess
retired,
that made
out of the
him
league,
pick.
or on a new team.
He finished the year with 3,804 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, and just 7 interceptions. His 100.5 passer rating was a remarkable leap from his rookie campaign and ranked among the league's best. And he was named to the Pro Bowl. But more importantly, Goff was no longer shouldering the burden alone. The Rams' offense, powered by Todd
Todd
Gurley's
Gurley.
MVP caliber season, became
Man, I
the
miss
leading
Todd
receiver
Gurley,
in
man.
the league, averaging over
Bro just could
29
never stay
points per
healthy
game.
after getting that
LA
big
finished
contract.
with an 11-5 record, claiming their first NFC West title since 2003.
I tell you what, man. I got another one for you guys. What a great holidays. Merry Christmas. See you Wednesday.
Goff made his playoff debut against the Atlanta Falcons in the wild card round, where he showed flashes of greatness but came up short in a 26-13 loss. Still, this sophomore breakout silenced the critics
tough.
and gave Rams fans something they hadn't had in years:
They put a great effort in, and the experience is what's going to count and put us ready for next year.
hope for the future. Heading into the 2018 season, the Rams were
I
seen
low-key
as a
missed
playoff
those
caliber team.
Rams helmets and shit.
Give it to me right here. The Los Angeles Rams. I can't deny.
Bro, that's crazy seeing. That's low-key crazy seeing the Jags as a top 3 team. That is
The
insane.
Los Angeles Rams. I can't deny.
Was the Jags even like
They
good at that
had
time?
true Super
I don't
Bowl
even remember.
contenders, surrounded by a stacked supporting cast that included all-pro running back Todd Gurley and a dynamic receiving trio of Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp. Goff thrived.
Damn.
He posted career best numbers, throwing for 4,688 yards and 32
Ooh,
touchdowns,
shit.
while leading the Rams to a scorching 8-0 start. They finished the regular season at 13-3, claiming the NFC's number 2 seed and firmly establishing themselves as
Was
one
this
of
the year they
league's
went to the
elite
Super Bowl?
teams. One of the best moments of Goff's season, and arguably his career, came in Week 11 against the Kansas City
Oh,
Chiefs.
this game, bro. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie. This might be the single most greatest regular season NFL game of all time, gang. I've watched the highlights like so many times over the past couple years.
NFL history, Goff
Like, this game was so
Patrick
fucking good.
Mahomes in a 54-51 thriller.
Oh my gosh.
Throwing for
And the commentary made it even
413
better.
and 4 touchdowns, including a game-winning strike in the final minutes.
Jared Everett. That boy Everett was a dog, gang.
The Rams carried that momentum into the playoffs, defeating the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round and surviving a
'Cause of course they
controversial
did.
overtime victory against the New Orleans Saints. in the
Nah, I ain't
NFC
gonna lie,
Championship.
bro. Saints should have won this game. That's crazy they didn't call pass interference on that one call game. Rams got the bell of hell, bro. Real shit. Because it should have been the Saints versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Might have been a better Super Bowl game, because I ain't gonna lie, I fell asleep during this game. Wasn't this game like, what, 13-3 or something like that?
229 yards and an interception.
Shit sucked the ass, bro.
As the Rams managed only a single field goal in a 13-3 loss.
Bro.
Still, they were a young team, and Goff looked like a
You could definitely tell they were a young team. Putting up 3 points in the Super Bowl, nigga.
Year in
Damn, that
and
nigga
year
balled
out.
this shit.
But unfortunately, not everything is what it seems. Coming off their Super Bowl appearance, the Rams struggled in the 2019 season.
Damn.
They finished with a 9-7 record and narrowly missed the playoffs in the.
I remember this game. This is still my favorite Lamar Jackson game of all time, bro. That game against the Rams.
Throwing for 4,638 yards, but the efficiency and precision that defined his 2018 campaign were no longer
Damn.
there. He managed just 22 touchdowns against 16 interceptions.
Damn, nigga threw his
Turnovers
jersey
and
number,
shaky
man.
decision-making becoming
It's a
recurring
dog.
issues. The offensive line, which was a fortress in 2018, became a liability in 2019, and injuries and roster changes led to inconsistent protection, leaving Goff frequently under pressure. But to make matters worse, Todd Gurley, the engine of the team's offense, battled injuries that severely limited his production. Without a dominant
That's when
ground
it started.
game, the weight of the offense fell squarely on Goff's shoulders.
Yo, Goff,
And
yo.
without a dominant ground game, the weight of the
Bro, how do you not see this? What the fuck?
squarely on Goff's shoulders, and the cracks began to show. This season raised serious questions about whether Goff could reclaim the form that once made him one of the league's brightest young stars.
There hasn't been a lot of conversation about just how bad the Rams have been this year. This is a team that was in the Super Bowl a year ago, that at this point last year looked like the best team in football. Their offense doesn't look right. The quarterback got paid. He doesn't look right. The defense doesn't look good. What's going on with the Rams?
But throughout the 2020 season, tensions continued to rise. While the team had a solid 10-6 record and a playoff berth, Goff's inconsistencies were becoming detrimental. His numbers, 3,952 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions, were decent, but not the kind of production expected from a quarterback leading a team with championship aspirations.
And the
His
number one overall
decision-making
pick at
under
that.
pressure was poor, especially in crucial moments. And there was a growing division developing between Goff and head coach Sean McVay. McVay grew visibly frustrated with Goff's inability to execute consistently at a high level. Still, Goff had flashes of greatness. In the wild card round against the Seattle Seahawks, Goff stepped up just 12 days after surgery on his broken thumb, coming off the bench to lead the Rams to a 30-20 victory.
And this was 2020, bro. Shit seemed weird not seeing like the whole crowd sold out and shit.
Played well, completing 21 of 27 passes, but the offense struggled to keep pace with Aaron Rodgers and the high-powered Packers. So the Rams fell 32-18, ending their season.
Yo, the Packers were so good under Aaron Rodgers.
Because by season's
You know what I'm
end,
saying?
it
They
was
still
clear
like
that the
he
Rams
obviously
were
got
no
one
longer
ring, but
Goff was
that time where like when what's his name first became head coach, like they should have at least had like 1 or 2 rings out of that. I ain't gonna lie.
What are we gonna do with all this money we got on the books, all this money we owe him, because we can't get rid of him?
His regression, combined with McVay's dissatisfaction, made it inevitable.
Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ, and it is monster.
Yeah, this
news.
was a hella blockbuster
trade in the
trade.
NFL.
But I'm gonna keep it a buck. This has got to be the most even trade of this decade. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the only difference is the Rams got a Super Bowl out of it. Goff has played lights out every single season. You know what I'm saying? Since Dan Campbell became head coach. Like, bro, like, this is such an even ass trade. All the Lions needed to do is get a ring to really even out this trade, gang.
At the time the trade was,
and they came so close a couple years ago in the NFC Championship game
for a Super Bowl. But as history would show, it became one of the rare trades where both teams walked away as winners. With Stafford at the helm, the Rams captured their long-awaited Super Bowl title in 2021, validating the aggressive move. As for the Lions, Goff's first season was anything but smooth. It was a massive step back for Jared. He went from the bright lights of Los Angeles on a Super Bowl contending team to a Lions team that was consistently one of the league's worst and in full rebuild mode. They hired a new head coach, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, it was rough like the first couple seasons.
Questioning him before he even
like the second half of their second season, they started to get things going though.
And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right, and we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right, and on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap.
And a new GM in Brad Holmes, who in his first draft selected Penei Sewell in the first round and found a gem in
they made sure they put protection around Jared Goff, bro.
They had Jared Goff, who had a bigger chip.
That was a major issue when he was on the Rams.
Going to back down from a challenge. The Lions stumbled out of the gate, starting 0-8. The roster overall was just thin on talent, and injuries to key players like running back DeAndre Swift and tight end TJ Hawkinson left Goff without many reliable weapons. For much of the season, they struggled to find their footing.
Damn.
As usual, Goff showed flashes of solid play. Unfortunately, it was clear that he couldn't single-handedly elevate a team in desperate need of reinforcements on both sides of the ball. And his numbers reflected those challenges, as he finished the year with 3,245 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Not bad, but far from the elite production he once posted in Los
that was
Angeles.
not horrible.
Despite the brutal start, Goff and the Lions did find some rhythm late in the year. And the injuries to other playmakers led to Amon-Ra St. Brown getting more snaps and breaking out as Goff's go-to guy in the passing game. In a Week 13 game against their divisional rival, the Minnesota Vikings, Goff led a game-winning drive.
That's got to be the shittiest gritty in the NFL, bro. I don't know which one is worse, his or Mac Jones. Or Mike Gesicki. Oh my gosh, Mike Gesicki's gritty is fucking disgusting.
The Lions' momentum continued as they would finish by winning 3 of their final 6 games. Heading into the 2022 season, key pieces fell into place for the Lions offense. St. Brown built on the success he had late in his rookie year and emerged as a star. The Lions' backfield, led by the dynamic DeAndre Swift, added versatility, while an improved offensive line gave Goff the protection he needed to operate efficiently. And new offensive coordinator Ben Johnson brought in a bold, creative approach.
I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do with Caleb Williams, bro.
As the Lions put up 35 and 36 points, more than they did in any game the previous year except for one. Goff threw for 4,438 yards, 29 touchdowns, and just 7 interceptions. One of his best seasons yet. And the Lions themselves became one of the most exciting teams.
Oh my gosh, I'm stiff on.
Led by their gutsy, aggressive style, brought forth by Dan Campbell. Heading into the final week of the season, the Lions were 8-8, with no chance of making the playoffs.
And they knocked the Packers right out of playoff contention.
The Green Bay Packers, who needed a win to make the playoffs. So what did the Lions do? Well, they crushed the Packers' postseason hopes, beating them 20-16.
We the Detroit Lions, stop playing with us. I don't even watch TV, but I heard everybody already picked the Packers over.
And I think this is his last season as a Lion too. They should have brought him back another year, man. I really fuck with Jamal Williams. Wasn't this like the season he had like a crazy amount of touchdowns?
Poverty franchise that hadn't won a Super Bowl in over a century of existence might be a potential contender.
Nothing to play for is what everyone said. And these Lions, young guns, came into Lambeau and they played so free and so fearless. and I want to shout out the coaching staff.
But the Lions weren't satisfied just yet, and Brad Holmes continued to absolutely cook in the draft. This year, selecting running back Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round and tight end Sam Laporta in the second. Not to mention adding running back David McGovern.
Forget about Jack Campbell.
With the newly added playmakers, one of the league's top offensive lines, and a defense on the rise, Detroit looked good on paper. They had to prove it, and Goff rose to the occasion, delivering some of the best football of his career. His pocket presence, sharp decision-making, and ability to protect the ball stood out. Week after week, Goff orchestrated the Lions' offense with precision, leading his team to several statement victories, finishing the season with 4,575 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, and just 12 interceptions. And the Lions roared to a 12-5 record, their best finish in decades, and entered the postseason with a ton of momentum. In the playoffs, Goff elevated his game further, guiding Detroit to their first playoff victory in over 30 years. And to make the moment even better,
I couldn't imagine that game. Oh my gosh. 30 years?
Final time. Moves in behind center. Takes the snap. Takes the knee. This game is over.
That voice crack is crazy. That voice crack is so crazy, nigga. Yo.
Okay, I'll just say it like this. Right? Hey, you're good enough for Detroit, Jay.
Then, after a divisional round victory over the Bucs, the Lions looked like a squad.
Lions should have been in the Super Bowl, man.
But unfortunately,
but they fucking choked so hard in the NFC Championship game.
Francisco 49ers. Despite Goff's efforts, the Lions fell short. But the season
all because Dan Campbell want to go for it on fourth down every time, and they had multiple drops too. I ain't just gonna put on Dan Campbell. They had a lot of drops as well.
And the 2024 season has all but confirmed what for so long felt impossible. The Detroit Lions are for real. And they're here to stay. In his third season in Ben Johnson's offense, Jared Goff has mastered it, always in rhythm, delivering pinpoint passes to complement their elite run game. In Week 4, Goff even caught a touchdown pass against the Seahawks, in a game where he also completed all 18 of his pass attempts for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. That touchdown pass wasn't something anyone could have expected.
Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to throw it back to Goff.
Anyone could have expected.
Look how slow he ran his fucking route, bro. That nigga Goff got 5 speed, real shit.
But
nigga.
It perfectly sums up the creativity and boldness of the Lions offense. They are easily the
we're not gonna be seeing that next season. I'll tell you that. Ben Johnson gone.
Forward on fourth downs and trying new trick plays each week.
And look at this.
In Week 11, they demolished the Jacksonville Jaguars 52-6, and Jared Goff had over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating. And it feels like he can deliver that level of performance any given week. With their explosive offense and relentless defense, the Lions finished the year 15-2, with the best record in the entire NFC. But what was an underlying issue Detroit was able to overcome in the regular season soon reared its ugly head in the playoffs, and that was injuries. The Lions had been decimated by injuries all season, and they entered their divisional round matchup with the Commanders with 16 players on injured reserve, including
that number 1 seed like kind of helped them out, but they were still just dismantled, bro.
And in that game, it showed as Washington and Jaden Daniels marched.
Because JD picked them apart.
Goff also played poorly, throwing 3 interceptions.
That pick was shitty.
Too much to overcome as Detroit fell 45-31. While it was a disappointing end to arguably the best season in Lions history, Lions fans can rest easy. Because
do y'all think the Lions gonna be as good this season as they were last season? I don't know, bro, because they lost both their coordinators.
If you enjoyed
what you have to see, bro.
Subscribe and check out some of our other content right
here.
Hey
man, shit, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know what other NFL videos I'm to react to. Without further ado, I'm out.
I'ma make them feel me, make them people when they chow me. And if you don't know me, I'ma make sure that you know me. I hate to say it, but I really think I'm broke. But I know I'm chosen, I really know I'm chosen. I know I'm chosen. I was just lost a year ago, but now I'm focused. When good at sports, this microphone can be my trophy. Not taking drugs, I found a better way of coping.